In 2008, they had 281 stores worldwide and were pulling in over $600 million a year. Their neon signs lit up every major city. Celebrities couldn't get enough of their disco pants. They were the face of ethical fashion, manufacturing everything in America when everyone else had outsourced to sweatshops overseas. By 2017, every single store was closed. The brand was sold for scraps, and the CEO who built this empire was fired, disgraced, and fighting lawsuits. This is the story of American Apparel, a brand that went from revolutionary to radioactive in less than a decade. And the fall? It's way messier than you think. The rise. Let's rewind to 1989. A 20-year-old Canadian named Dov Charney had a simple idea: sell t-shirts. Not from factories in Bangladesh or China, but from Los Angeles. What started in his dorm room turned into something massive. By 2003, American Apparel wasn't just another clothing brand. It was a cultural movement. They sold basics in every color imaginable. The aesthetic was simple but addictive. High-waisted jeans, crop tops, tube socks, those famous disco pants that every fashion blogger had to own. But here's what really set them apart: the Made in USA label. While fast fashion giants like H&M and Zara were racing to the bottom with overseas manufacturing, American Apparel was manufacturing everything in downtown Los Angeles. They paid their workers above minimum wage. They offered benefits. They became the poster child for ethical fashion. And the marketing? Provocative, controversial, unforgettable. Their ads featured real people, not airbrushed supermodels. The campaigns were sexually charged, pushing boundaries that made conservative groups lose their minds. But Gen Z and millennials ate it up. By 2008, American Apparel hit its peak: $633 million in revenue. Over 200 stores globally. They were the cool kid of retail. Edgy, ethical, unstoppable. Or so it seemed. The cracks appear. But behind those neon storefronts and provocative ads, there was a darker reality brewing. The man at the center of it all, Dov Charney, wasn't just building a brand. He was creating a toxic workplace culture that would eventually destroy everything he'd built. Starting in the mid-2000s, the lawsuits started piling up. Sexual harassment, assault. Employees as young as 17 claimed they were subjected to inappropriate behavior. One lawsuit alleged Charney forced a teenage employee to perform sexual acts under threat of losing her job. Encounters that reportedly lasted 8 months. In 2004, a journalist from Jane magazine published an essay claiming Charney began masturbating in front of her during an interview. He called it art. She called it harassment. By 2011, at least 5 sexual harassment lawsuits had been filed against him. Company documents later revealed that American Apparel spent over $9 million in litigation costs defending their CEO. But here's the twisted part. The company kept defending him. The board stood by Charney for years, even as the allegations multiplied. And while the lawsuits were piling up, so was the debt. American Apparel expanded too fast, opening stores in cities where they couldn't sustain sales. By 2009, they were hemorrhaging money. They took an $80 million investment from Lion Capital just to stay afloat. In 2009 alone, they paid $5 million to settle a copyright lawsuit filed by Woody Allen, who called their campaign sleazy after they used his image without permission. And then came the immigration scandal. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement investigated their Los Angeles factory and found that about 1,600 employees weren't authorized to work in the U.S. American Apparel fired roughly 1,500 workers overnight. The ethical fashion brand suddenly didn't look so ethical anymore. The writing was on the wall. But Dov Charney wasn't going down without a fight. The collapse. By 2014, the board had finally had enough. After years of scandal, mounting debt, and plummeting sales, American Apparel suspended Dov Charney in June. 6 months later, in December 2014, they officially fired him. The termination letter was brutal. It accused him of repeated harassment, discrimination, assault, and misuse of corporate assets. Court documents filed in 2015 revealed even more disturbing details. Videos of Charney engaging in sex acts with models and employees, stored on company servers. Allegations that he used ethnic slurs, calling some workers Filipino pigs, sending pornographic emails to staff. Charney called it a coup. He said he was blindsided. In interviews, he claimed the allegations were fabricated, part of a conspiracy to push him out. He told Bloomberg he was down to his last $100,000 and sleeping on a friend's couch. But firing the founder didn't save the company. If anything, it accelerated the decline. In October 2015, less than a year after Charney's firing, American Apparel filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They were $300 million in debt. Sales had dropped 33% in just 1 year. Revenue fell from $633 million in 2013 to just $497 million by 2015. They tried to restructure. They brought in new leadership. Paula Schneider took over as CEO, promising to turn things around. It didn't work. Just 13 months later, in November 2016, American Apparel filed for bankruptcy again. This time, there was no coming back. The company was $177 million in debt. They were borrowing $2 million a week just to keep the lights on. Stores were closing left and right. In January 2017, Canadian clothing manufacturer Gildan Activewear swooped in and bought the American Apparel brand for $88 million. But here's the catch. They didn't buy the stores. They just wanted the brand name and the inventory. All 281 stores closed. Thousands of employees lost their jobs. The Los Angeles factory, the heart of American Apparel's made in USA identity, shut down. The brand that revolutionized ethical fashion was now owned by a company that manufactured overseas in Honduras and Nicaragua. American Apparel was dead. The aftermath. So, what happened to American Apparel after the collapse? Well, Gildan relaunched it as an online-only brand in 2017. They toned down the provocative marketing. They ditched most of the made-in-USA manufacturing. For a while, they had a small made-in-USA section on the website, but by 2020, even that disappeared. Today, American Apparel exists as a shadow of what it once was. It's just another Genera Basics brand, sold mostly on Amazon. The neon signs are gone. The cultural impact is gone. What's left is a name that no longer means what it used to. And Dov Charney, he didn't disappear. In 2016, he launched Los Angeles Apparel, essentially an American Apparel clone. Same aesthetic, same manufacturing model, different name. But in 2020, during the COVID pandemic, public health officials shut down his factory for flagrant violations of health and safety protocols. The pattern continued. So what can we learn from American Apparel's collapse? First, financial discipline matters. You can't expand at breakneck speed without the cash flow to support it. American Apparel opened stores faster than they could fill them, and the debt crushed them. Second, corporate culture is everything. No matter how successful your brand is, if your workplace is toxic, it will eventually destroy you from the inside out. The lawsuits alone cost American Apparel millions, but the reputational damage was priceless. Third, leadership accountability is non-negotiable. The board defended Charney for years when they should have acted sooner. By the time they fired him, it was too late to save the company. And finally, a brand is more than just products and marketing. American Apparel's identity was tied to its founder, its ethics, and its cultural moment. When all three collapsed, there was nothing left to stand on. American Apparel was supposed to be different. It was supposed to prove that you could make clothes ethically, pay workers fairly, and still build a billion-dollar brand. But in the end, greed, ego, and mismanagement destroyed it all. The story of American Apparel is a masterclass in how not to run a company. It's a cautionary tale about unchecked power, toxic leadership, and the price of ignoring red flags until it's too late. But it's also a reminder that no brand is too big to fail. In 2008, American Apparel seemed unstoppable. By 2017, it was gone. So here's my question for you. What modern brands are showing the same warning signs? Who's expanding too fast, burning through cash, or hiding behind a founder with too much power? Drop your predictions in the comments. I want to hear which company you think could be the next American Apparel. And if you found this deep dive into one of fashion's biggest disasters fascinating, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I break down the rise and fall of iconic brands, businesses, and cultural phenomena you thought you knew. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.